Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. This is Tuesday, February 17th. We are halfway through the month. Uh, Welcome to our leadership development call. My name is Miriam Kareem, and I'm so happy to have you all here, have everybody here, so that we can learn and grow our businesses with our amazing coaching entourage. You will definitely be hearing something from Coach Seymour Greenwich Blake. Um, but a quick trip to the newbie corner. So I had a crazy experience today, and I did a little bit of reflection. I want everybody to just really hear me out on this because I'm mainly talking to myself when I'm saying this, but I hope that it resonates with you some kind of way, that you understand. Please do not let you be the reason your inaction, your inconsistency, you're afraid to talk to people, your whatever, any type of bad work ethic, whatever. Do not let that be a reason for someone to say that this industry is a scam. Don't let your um again, your inconsistency, your inaction. People are watching you. Your family is watching you. They the main ones. The main ones, especially if you've been one of those family members that was always in need or always seemed to have a hard time in life. They are watching you. They're watching, oh, this is just another thing they're not going to succeed at. I had to take a hard look at what I'm doing and what I need to step it up about. So if that resonated with you in some kind of way, don't be the reason. Don't be the reason that you join this, people come and go all the time. But what is it, the 80-20 rule? Only 20% will succeed. And this industry is responsible for putting the most millionaires every year, other than any other industry. But yet, it's a scam to some people because they see people that are inconsistent with their businesses. They see people that are afraid to talk to people. They see people that are not taking the time to stop and look at what they're doing. I had to do that today, and I'm going to keep doing it. So I hope that this resonated with you. This is not a pity party. This is just, you know, I've seen there are people that are successful from everyday life. It's not a oh, he got it. No, it's definitely um people that make the decision to do it and they get busy, and then people that make the decision to do it and they don't. So I'm sorry. I gotta step it up. I'm sorry. I don't know about y'all, but I gotta step it up. So I hope that this resonated with you. And now I'd like to introduce you all to our teacher tonight, Coach Seymour Greenwich Blake. He is a multiple six-figure earner in the network marketing world, a six-figure earner at our Green Organics companies, an amazing coach, an amazing mentor, an amazing grandfather, amazing father, an amazing friend, awesome person to just sit down and talk to, because you can always get your basket ready because there's going to be some jewels, gems dropping when he's talking to you. He's always leaves some wealth of information with you. So, Coach Seymour Greenwich Blake, are you available, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I am here. Uh, Thank you for the introduction, first of all.
You're welcome.
And it's amazing, like Coach will always say, how when we get on these calls, We don't talk with each other before we get on these calls. We don't know what we're going to be, nobody know what I'm going to be talking about on Tuesdays. But for some reason, the message that you give always resonate with the teaching that I'm going to be teaching. And today it hit 100%. Just to let y'all know, the topics that I talk about on Tuesdays, I get those topics together the Tuesday, like tonight when I get off of this call, next week call, I would start preparing that call. So I prepare my calls a week out, not knowing that what you told us, me and Coach Marcus, just before the call started, that what I'm going to be talking about will resonate with what you just talked about. And with that said, I want to get started because it's going to be very serious. And I hope that y'all listen to what Miriam just said to you. And I hope now that you'll take off your thinking cap and really pay attention to the message that I'm going to bring to you today, because it is serious. And this is stuff that we're doing that we need to stop doing. And I want to say this before I get started also. These teachings that I give on Tuesdays, it's not necessarily only for you to apply to the business that we're doing, that we're involved with. You want to apply this also to your life, to your relationships, to your job. Because in these little teachings, there's always a little bit of something that comes out that can help you in your relationship, in your job, in your life in general, in your business. So please don't just listen and get off the phone and then forget about it. When you get off the phone, as soon as Coach Marcus posts that recording back up, go back and listen to it again. Not once, not twice, maybe even 3 to 4 times. Because every time you listen to it, you're going to get a message that you missed on the call itself, the actual call. And then I want you to start applying this. If you really want to see your business get and step up to the next level, apply the message, not just the calls that I do on Tuesdays, but we have calls Sunday through Fridays. Or Sunday through Thursdays, and then Friday we have the hangout. But there is important information on every call. Some people think that is repetitive. Like Coach Wheeler, so everything that is repeated is remembered, and what is remembered is repeated. So if you go back and listen, I'm telling you, you're going to pick up some nuggets that you missed on the actual call. You might even miss some nuggets on the first, second, or third replay. So constantly take those messages that you're getting and then start applying it if you really want to see your business get to the next level. And again, like I said last week, a lot of the topics that I talk about is things that I went through myself in life. So I'm not just telling you stuff that just to say it. This is stuff that I went through. This is stuff that helped me get to where I'm at today in life with my business, with my life in general, with my family. So please pay attention today, take some notes. And again, like I said, after the recording is posted up on the YouTube, on the YouTube page, go back and listen to these calls, not just mine, but every single call that we get from each of the coaches that comes on here and put their time in to be on here to talk to you guys. And I want to say I applaud each and every one of you that's on this call right now. We got 44 people on the call. You took the time to get out and doing maybe time that you could have been spending with your family to be here tonight to listen to what I have to say to you. So I want to applaud you, and I want you to applaud yourself for being here tonight, because again, that means that you are stepping up to the leadership level of the business. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and go off camera so I can pay attention to the message that I want to bring to you tonight. So tonight I want to teach from a place of freedom, okay? I want to speak directly to the leaders that lives inside of you, the visionary that's inside of you, the version of you that is growing faster than people around you can adjust to. The title of tonight's message is simple, but it carries weight. And that message is, you don't owe anyone a version of you that makes them feel comfortable. Let me say that again. You don't owe anyone a version of you that makes them feel comfortable. I want you to let that settle in your spirit for a second and just think about those words. Okay? You don't owe anyone a smaller dream so that they can sleep better at night. You don't owe anyone a quieter voice so that they don't feel insecure. You don't owe anyone a dim light because your brightness expressed their lack of movement. And you don't owe anyone stagnation just because growth make them nervous. Understand that comfort, it is addictive. And not just your comfort, but other people's comfort with you. You see, when you were young, you were rewarded with fitting in. Because if you were able to fit in with the friends that you wanted to fit in with, they accepted you. When you were also praised for behaving. Sometimes your parents gave you more allowance because you did what they told you to do and you behaved yourself during that week. You were also told sometimes not to be loud, not to be too ambitious, not to be too emotional, too confident. But somewhere along that way, you were trained to adjust yourself so that other people would not feel threatened. But you know what demands disruption? Growth. Every time that you level up, someone who benefited from your old level will feel unsettled. Let me say that again, because I need y'all to hear this. Every time that you level up, someone who benefited from your old level, they will start to feel unsettled. That's not cruelty. That's mathematics. See, if they were used to you playing small and now you're playing big, the dynamic starts to change. If they were used to you asking for permission and now you move with authority and the dynamics change again. If they were used to you doubting yourself and now you walk with clarity, again, the dynamics change. Remember, 2 weeks ago, I told you, stop talking negative about yourself, even if you're joking about it. So as you can see, every week, it has something to do with another level up from what I taught you the week before. See, most people don't resist your success. They resist the discomfort that your success create inside of them. Okay, understand that. Let's talk about what comfort really is. It is predictability. See, comfort is control. Comfort is familiarity. And when people are comfortable with you, it means that they know what to expect from you. They know how you will respond. They know how far you will go. They know how much you will demand, and they know how much you will tolerate. That's what comfort is. But the moment you grow beyond their expectation, you start to introduce uncertainty. And you know what that feels like? To them, it feels like danger. And it feels that way to them because they have not grown like you have. But your calling is not to be predictable, people. Your calling is to evolve. You can't continue being the same person your entire life. If you are called to lead, you must understand that leadership will always disrupt someone. It would always disrupt someone because it forces movement. It forces accountability, growth, and growth stretches people who never asked to be stretched. You didn't ask to grow, but you should demand yourself to grow. See, there's a subtle pressure in life to remain the same version of yourself that people first met. And sometimes that's the reason why when you try to get people to join you, they tell you no, because you have not grown. You still living at the level that they know you are, not know that they know you have. But once you start to grow, build that growth, they will start seeing things differently. They'll start looking at you different. See, the version that they are comfortable with is the version that first hit their memory. But you are not a museum exhibit. You're a living organism. So you are meant to transform. Let that sink in. You are meant to transform, but only you can do that transformation. Just imagine a caterpillar apologizing to another caterpillar because they became a butterfly. Imagine that caterpillar saying, I'm sorry, my wings make you uncomfortable. That would be absurd, wouldn't it? But that's exactly what many adults are doing. That's what many of you are doing. That's what I used to do. I used to apologize. We got to stop apologizing and start evolving. I had to start growing. I had to change the people I surrounded myself with if I wanted to grow. Because if I stayed around those people that did not want to grow with me, I would be right where they at today still. I probably still be struggling. I sure won't be where I'm at today. I'll probably be still living in an apartment in the hood. I probably still will be wondering what bill I'm gonna pay this month. I probably wouldn't have had my kids anymore if I stayed in that level that I was at. I had to evolve, and you need to evolve. You don't owe anyone an apology for becoming who you were meant to be. You don't owe anyone that. The only person you owe that apology to is to yourself. See, there's a difference between being kind and being compliant. Kindness is a choice rooted in strength. Compliance is a behavior rooted in fear. And many people confuse those two. They think that shrinking is kindness. They think that silence is peace. And they think agreement is unity. But unity is without authenticity. Unity without authenticity is just a quiet resentment. Got to stop resenting things that you're succeeding in, your growth. Because if you keep presenting a version of yourself that makes everyone else comfortable, eventually you will become uncomfortable in your own skin. And when you do that, when you let their uncomfortability bring you down, you give them power over you. It's just like sometimes if I don't know if you ever seen you've been in a room and you're having the best time of your life and your ex walk in the room or someone that you don't get along with walk in the room, that happiness goes away and you get angry because they're now in that room. But they over there walking around and their head up high and smiling, they got power over you. How long are you going to keep people having that type of power over you? You need to take your power back. Because if you don't, it becomes expensive. It becomes expensive. And let's examine why we do this. Ask yourself, why do intelligent, capable, visionary people shrink? Why do they shrink themselves? The answer is very simple. Put in the chat why you think people do that. Why do you think that they shrink themselves back down? Put in the chat what you think that answer is. I'm looking for one word. Let me give you that word. Acceptance. It's not fair. It's not confidence. They want to be accepted. So they shrink down to that level when they already been at the top. Now, because people are uncomfortable, they want to shrink down so that they can be acceptable to that individual. Again, like Coach Marcus just said, they want to fit in. Okay. We want belonging. We want connection. And as a child, we learned that connection sometimes required compromise. But there's a difference between compromise and a behavior and compromise and identity. You can adjust how you commit or how you communicate. You can refine how you express yourself, but you must never, and I'll say this again, you must never alter who you are at your core to manage someone else's insecurity. And I hope that y'all are taking notes. I hope that you see yourself in this teachings today. Because I had to see that for myself. I didn't have to wait for somebody to tell me this. I had to see it for myself what I was doing, the damage that I was doing to myself. And I didn't want to stay there. As I told y'all in my story before, my goal when I came to the United States was to become rich and now that I understand the difference between rich and wealthy, my goal now is to become wealthy. And if I kept doing what I was doing, kept surrounding myself with the people I was surrounding myself with, it wasn't going to happen. And understand, yes, I had a large hot market that with people I grew up with that support me up to this day. Some of them, not all of them, but I have a large group of people that still support me today because they saw my growth. But I think the difference is because of where I was brought up at. See, we all grew up with the same mindset. Our parents taught us the same thing. We were always considered family. We didn't separate that. Again, like I told y'all in the past, the meaning of what family means to me. Family means father and mother, I love you. If you spell that out, that's family. Family ends with an I-L-Y, which means I love you. Friends ends with N, E-N-D, because friendships can end. Relationships can end. But because of how we were brought up at home, that unity that we have, people still can't believe that over 50 years, some of us are still best friends, especially when they see us out together. So you got to change, you got to evolve if you want people to see it and follow you. So when you become successful, some people will say to you, you've changed. How many of you have heard people say that to you in the past? Sometimes even currently, and you have changed. And some of you don't say nothing else. You wouldn't even respond to that. You might smile. But you know what your answer should be? You're right. I have changed. Because growth is change. That should be your answer. Maturity is change. Discipline is change. Clarity is change. The only people who don't change are those who refuse to grow. That should be your answer. Not just be quiet about it. Let them know. And that don't mean that you're vain. You know you've grown. You know you've changed. And if you let that bring you down, then you're not strong-minded. The only you didn't challenge them. I mean, the old you didn't challenge them. The old you didn't outgrow them. You didn't confront them. The old you didn't expose the gap between talk and action. So start letting them know, yes, I have changed because I've grown, I've matured, I've had discipline, I've clarity. Understand that, guys. Accept that. The new you demands excellence by example. And that can be very uncomfortable. But you are not responsible for maintaining or for managing their discomfort. You're responsible for stewarding your potentials. There's a big difference. If your growth is rooted in integrity, elevation, purpose, expansion, service, then guess what? You don't need to shrink to maintain approval at all from no one. The only person you need approval from is yourself. Understand that approval is rented, purpose is owned. So do you want to be renting approval or do you want to own purpose? So many people live their entire life renting approval because they want to get approval from somebody else. They wake up asking, will they like this? They move asking the question, will they agree with this? And they speak asking the question, will this offend them? And they die never having the full never having to fully express what they were assigned to do. Please don't make that your story. You don't owe, again, anyone stagnation so that they can avoid reflection. You don't owe anyone any mediocrity so that they can avoid comparison. And you don't owe anyone silence so that they can avoid conviction. Let me say something important here. This message is not a license for you to become arrogant. It's not justification for your cruelty. It is not excuses for your ego. Authenticity without humility becomes aggression. Growth without empathy becomes dominance. But empathy does not mean self-erasure. You can be compassionate without compromising your calling. Do you know what your calling is on this earth? Because everybody has a calling. My calling is helping people. I enjoy that. I love helping people. I love the joy of seeing the results of me helping them. I remember hearing from my police officer friend when he came back to me and told me that his 5-year-old daughter that has leukemia, once she started taking that black seed oil, her blood levels went from 340, it dropped from 340 to 300, then it went up once she started the black seed oil to 1,500, 2,800, over 4,000. Her hair has grown back and she is doing great. That made me feel good. Hearing another person that had, again, the C word, talk about for 5 years she didn't have eyelashes or eyebrow or hair on her head, and now her eyelashes are growing back, her hair is growing back. That makes me feel good. And it should you too. When you truly understand who you are, you stop negotiating with your identity. One of the most dangerous habits in leadership is self-editing to maintain comfort in the room. You feel the atmosphere shift when you speak boldly. You sense the tension when you raise standards. And instead of leaning into clarity, you pull back. How many of you have done that? You have lowered your temperature of your conviction so that the room can breathe. But but the room will never elevate to you keeping lowering your ceiling. So if you down here, if the people that you're talking are down on the bottom, you up at that ceiling, and you feel that you got to bring that down to get to their level, every time you bring it down, that ceiling starts to crush you and you are back down at that level. They should move up to the level that you are at, not you moving down to them. Someone must introduce a higher standard. Someone must normalize excellence. Someone must demonstrate discipline, and someone must embody vision. And that someone is you. And once you do that, then you cannot apologize for it. So you need to be the person to start introducing a higher standard in how you're going to run things. You need to normalize excellence. You need to demonstrate discipline. You need to embody vision. And once you do those things, again, like I said, then you don't have the time to apologize because you have accomplished those things and you have put those things in your life. Understand that this is what happens. So when you rise, there are three categories of people that will show up. Anybody have an idea who those three people are? Put in the chat who you think those three people are that will show up when you start to rise. Let me see some answers in the chat. Okay, see haters, supporters, the ones who love you, complainers, future self, part self, and current version. So let me give you the answer to that. The three people are these: the inspired, the indifferent, and the insecure. See, the inspired will grow with you. The indifferent, they're going to observe you. The insecure, they're going to resist you. You need to start learning how to differentiate between these three groups of people without becoming bitter towards any of them. Let me say it again, because some of you get mad when you get the no's. And you might even stop talking to those people that tell you no. But you got to know how to differentiate each one of them without becoming bitter towards any of them. Because I understand that the inspired person, they deserve your access. Because like I said, they'll grow with you. The indifferent deserve your space. The insecure deserve borderlines. And understand that borderlines are not punishment, they are protection. See, when you set boundaries, you're not saying, I am better than you. You're saying, I am responsible for my direction. Like I said, boundaries protect your focus. It protects your energy. It protects your mission. And let me tell you something about energy. The greatest drain on your energy is not work. It is managing perceptions. Trying to control how everyone sees you is exhausting. Trying to anticipate everyone's reaction is paralyzing. And trying to digestibly try to be digestibly for every personality is impossible because you can't help everybody. You're not a product designed for universal consumption. You are a purpose-driven individual designed for a specific assignment. Not everyone will understand it. Not everyone will support it. And not everyone will applaud it. And that is fine. Because again, you don't owe them a diluted version of you for their destiny. Let's think about every majority breakthrough in history. Every innovator, every reformer, every visionary, disrupted comfort will have kept things the same, right? But growth requires friction. And if you are growing and there's no friction, you're probably not stretching enough. You're not stretching enough. Remember, Coach Will told us before, once you get up there and you start getting up to the top, people gonna stop liking you. People gonna start talking about you. But understand that means you're growing. And a lot of you are staying in your comfort zone. And understand that it's being in your comfort zone is not evil. It should be temporary. See, because comfort zone, they're designed for you to rest, not for you to live in, not for you to reside in. When you build a permanent home in comfort, you building a ceiling over your potentials. So you got to get out your comfort zone. 5, 6 years ago, you think I could really believe if you told me I'll be on these calls on Tuesdays talking to people about stuff like this that I would believe it? No, because remember that week when I talked about talking negative about yourself? One of the statements was, I used to tell myself I'm shy. And if you keep telling yourself that again, your body don't know if you're telling a joke or not. Your body's just following instructions. So when you tell your body that you're shy, your brain gonna make sure that you stay that way. See, the people who loves you genuinely, they'll adjust to your growth. It might take some time. It might take conversation. It might even take clarity, but they will adjust. The ones who demand that you remain small so that they can remain comfortable are not protecting you. They are protecting their own limitations. And you must not adopt someone else's limitation as your lifestyle. And let's talk about identity, because that should be the main thing about you, your identity. See, identity is not what you do, it's who you are and who you're becoming. And becoming requires evolution. Evolution requires shedding, and shedding requires discomfort. Why do you think a snake sheds his skin? Because he's growing or she's growing. So you should be doing the same, and not necessarily your skin, but your identity. You cannot shed and stay familiar in the same timeline. Every season of evaluation requires the death of a former version of you. And whenever something dies, even if it's necessary, there's mourning, right? Some people are not mourning you, they're mourning their access to the old you. That distinctions matter. They're not grieving your growth, they're grieving the version of you that was easier to predict, easier to influence, and easier to contain. But you were not born to be contained. There's a strength that comes when you stop performing and you start embodying. Performing is exhausting because it requires constant adjustment. Embodying is powerful because it requires alignment. And when you're aligned, you move differently, you speak differently, you decide differently. And people who are comfortable with your misalignment, they may struggle with your alignment. But alignment is peace, and peace is not negotiable. You don't owe anyone chaos in your spirit so that they can feel secure in theirs. As you build, as you lead, as you grow, you will face a lot of pressure. People must say, again, you'll change. They may even say, you're different. You used to be. And that phrase, you used to be, is often an attempt to pull you back to what you used to be. Used to be is history, becoming is future. You must choose which one you serve. So tonight, I hope that you're serving your future. If your assignment requires courage, then you cannot serve history. You must serve becoming. Now, I want to speak directly to the leaders that's inside of you. If you are building something significant, if you're expanding your reach, if you're elevating your mindset, then understand, and I want you to understand this clearly, elevation will rearrange relationships. Not because you're disloyal or arrogant, but because altitude changes access. Some people only relate to you at the ground level. And if they refuse to climb, you cannot carry them and access at the same time. That doesn't mean that you abandon them. It means that you refuse to anchor yourself to avoid their discomfort. And there's a difference. Understand that leadership requires clarity about your responsibility, not theirs, yours. Because your responsibility is the steward to your gift. Your responsibility is to maximize your potential, and your responsibility is to answer your calling. Your responsibility is not to remain digestible. And if you constantly adjust yourself to avoid making others uncomfortable, then you will eventually betray yourself. And self betrayal is the most expensive betrayal. It costs confidence, it costs peace, and it costs direction. You are not created to be managed by other people's insecurities. You were created to be guided by purpose. And as you continue to grow, practice this discipline. Speak truth with grace. Move with integrity. Lead with humility. But never, never, and I say it again, never shrink to maintain applauses. Because applauses fades while alignment sustains. And if you think that's not true, when somebody get praised for something and you stand up and you give them a standing ovation, does that applaud continue for 30, 40, 50 minutes? No, it fades away and it stops. So when you're hands down at night, or when you head down at night, the question is not, was everyone comfortable with me today? Your question is, was I faithful to who I am becoming? That's what your answer. That's what you should say. That should be your standard. Because at the end of your life, you will not be judged by how well you pretend or protected other people's comfort. You will be measured by how fully you live your calling. You stand tall, grow boldly, evolve unapologetically, and love deeply, lead clearly. And remember this, family. Again, you don't owe anyone a version of you that makes them feel comfortable. You owe yourself the courage to become everything that you were designed to be. And that is more than enough. Back to you, Mary.
Thank you, Coach Seymour. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. Please, you all give Coach Seymour some love in the chat. I need, especially what we talked about before the call. I
Right.
needed to hear that because I think sometimes you do things, as you say, it makes them feel uncomfortable because of what you're becoming. And oh boy. But you all, thank you so much, Coach Seymour, for that. I'm definitely going to listen to this. I didn't take notes. I was just listening this time. Usually I'm taking notes, but this time I'm just listening, and I definitely will be going to take it, taking notes. A lot of points were so much resonating with me about my situation today. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
You're
Um,
welcome.
so Coach Will is here. I'm not sure if he wants to chime in or have something to say. I'm sure he had his notes too. Taking notes. I know it's Coach, it's like that with Coach Seymour. You're gonna take some notes. So Coach Will, sir, are you available for a comment?
I am available, Miriam, but like I just put in the chat, ain't nothing I can add to this one, man. I just appreciate Coach for doing it like he did it, man. Thank you so much, and that's a great
Awesome.
way to end the call because of the power of his message and your intro. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Okay,
Coach.
well, That's it, you guys. So hopefully we will see you all. I believe tomorrow is Coach Marcus's call. The franchise factor, I believe, is at part 3 for tomorrow, and that time is going to change for tomorrow. It will be 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. This is for if you need a refresher course and how to run your network marketing business, or if you have new members that you need to onboard. This is an amazing call. So thank you all so much for attending tonight, and I hope that you have an amazing evening. Thank you so much.